Have you ever noticed that the moment things get quiet, something in you rushes to fill the silence? You suddenly remember an email you forgot to send. You decide to clean a room that wasn't even bothering you 5 minutes ago. You reach for your phone without even thinking. Somehow, there's always one more thing waiting to be done. We call this productivity. We praise it. We wear it like a badge of honor. But what if that's not really what's happening? What if your need to always stay busy isn't ambition, but a quiet form of self-sabotage? What if the real reason you never stop moving is because stopping would force you to sit with thoughts you've spent years avoiding? Here's the uncomfortable truth. A lot of people aren't busy because they have too much to do. They create more things to do because silence scares them more than exhaustion does. We live in a world that celebrates constant motion. Say, "I've been so busy," and it almost sounds like an achievement. A packed schedule makes you look important. Working late gets mistaken for commitment. Sleeping less gets treated like dedication. Somewhere along the way, we started confusing movement with progress. But sometimes, being busy isn't about getting ahead. Sometimes it's about running away from hard emotions, from questions you haven't answered, from the quiet space where real growth actually happens. Think about it. When was the last time you sat alone without reaching for your phone, turning on the TV, or finding something, anything, to occupy your mind? For a lot of people, that kind of quiet doesn't feel peaceful. It feels unsettling. Because silence has a way of asking the questions noise has been helping you avoid. Am I actually happy? Do I like the life I've built? Am I chasing someone else's version of success? Have I actually healed from the things I say I'm over? Those questions are heavy. So instead of sitting with them, we schedule another meeting. Instead of processing disappointment, we take on another project. Instead of facing loneliness, we stay constantly connected but rarely actually present. Instead of dealing with grief, we bury ourselves in work. The schedule becomes a wall, not protecting your future, protecting you from yourself. This is why busyness is one of the few addictions people actually applaud. Nobody tells you to slow down when you're overworking. They tell you how impressive you are. The more tired you look, the more committed people assume you must be. And your brain starts rewarding the wrong things. Every notification gives you a little hit of satisfaction. Every checked box feels good. Nothing wrong with that on its own, but eventually, you start chasing that feeling of done more than anything that actually matters. You'll spend an hour reorganizing your desktop instead of writing the one email you've been avoiding. You'll answer 40 small messages instead of having the one hard conversation you know you need to have. You become incredibly good at staying busy with the things that don't matter, so you never have to face the ones that do. Busy work feels safe. Meaningful work feels risky, because meaningful work can fail. It can get criticized. It can expose your limits. Replying to emails doesn't threaten who you are. Finally starting that business you've talked about for years does. Cleaning your kitchen doesn't make you question your purpose. Sitting quietly for 30 minutes might. That's why a lot of people, without even realizing it, manufacture urgency. If every hour of the day is already spoken for, there's no room left to ask yourself hard questions. No room to feel what you've been avoiding. No room to check whether you're climbing the right mountain or just climbing because everyone around you is. Over time, this constant motion costs you more than energy. It quietly steals your creativity too. The best ideas rarely show up in the middle of chaos. They show up on walks, in quiet mornings, in the moments your mind finally has room to think instead of react. Growth needs some empty space. But if every minute is already booked, nothing new ever gets the chance to grow. Eventually, your body starts telling you the truth your calendar has been hiding. You wake up tired even after sleeping. You lose interest in work you used to enjoy. Small things start irritating you more than they should. You feel flat, even when things are technically going well. You tell yourself you just need a vacation. But sometimes the problem isn't that you worked too hard. It's that you've spent too long avoiding yourself. Burnout isn't always about doing too much. Sometimes it's about doing too much of what never mattered in the first place. So, how do you actually break this? Not by becoming lazy, not by dropping your responsibilities. The goal isn't to do less. The goal is to get intentional about what you're doing and why. Before you say yes to one more thing, pause and ask yourself one simple question. Is this moving my life forward, or is it helping me avoid something? That one question can expose motives you never noticed before. Then, start protecting quiet moments the same way you protect an important meeting. 10 or 15 minutes a day where nothing has to get done. No phone, no TV, no background noise. Just enough quiet for your mind to catch up with your life. It'll feel uncomfortable at first. That's normal. Discomfort isn't always a sign something's wrong. Sometimes it's a sign healing just started. And here's something a lot of people never consider. You don't have to do everything yourself. Being responsible for something doesn't mean you personally have to handle every part of it. If certain tasks are eating up hours of your week without needing your specific skills, and you have the means to do it, get help. Hand off the repetitive admin work. Pay someone to edit your videos. Get help with your bookkeeping. Use a virtual assistant to organize your schedule. Not because those tasks are beneath you, but because your time and energy are limited, and every hour spent on something anyone else could do is an hour you didn't spend on the thing only you can do. That thing, your actual strength, deserves most of your attention. But even that can turn into a trap if you never set boundaries around it. Working in your gift doesn't mean working without rest. Passion without limits turns into pressure. Purpose without balance turns into exhaustion. The people who actually thrive aren't the ones doing everything. They're the ones who know exactly where they create real value, protect that space, and aren't afraid to ask for help with everything else. Asking for help is not weakness. It's wisdom. At the end of the day, your calendar should serve your life. Your life was never meant to serve your calendar. Your worth was never measured by how exhausted you are, how many messages you answered, or how full your schedule looks. That value existed long before your to-do list ever did. The busiest person in the room isn't always the most successful one. Sometimes they're just the most distracted. Real success isn't a calendar with no empty spaces. It's having the wisdom to know which spaces should stay empty. Because that's where clarity comes back. That's where creativity returns. That's where you finally stop running long enough to realize the peace you've been chasing wasn't waiting at the end of one more task. It was waiting in the silence you kept trying to avoid. If this message spoke to you, there's a lot more waiting for you on this channel. We've created other videos that explore the psychology behind human behavior, relationships, personal growth, and the hidden patterns that shape our lives. Take a moment to watch another video. You may discover the insight you didn't know you needed. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and tell us in the comments, what part of this video spoke to you the most? Timeless wisdom for love, life, and growth.